Welcome back, everybody. So what we're going to do in this lesson is actually do two things. First, we're going to create multiple sprites for our player to collect, basically our food, and I'll create also this toggle button as we can see here. So if I press X, the game starts. You can see we are having multiple food items that are spawning. We have the watermelon, we have the little banana, we have the apple, and let's see other food types that we have to make sure everything is spawning. There's also an avocado. So once the avocado spawns, we'll just quit the video and ensure that everything is working. So I'm not seeing the avocado, and there it is. So these are all our food items. And if we go over here to the sprites, you can actually see the foods we have. So our cherries, apple, banana, orange, watermelon, and an avocado. You can actually create more. So let's go ahead and see how we can set this up to first create our blinking, flashing X select button, and then we'll work on the food. So let's quickly do that. So if we actually run our game, we'll actually see that the start menu is not blinking. Let's do that. So hit escape and let's go to our code menu, which is the first one here. And it's actually under the draw menu. Now, if you're somewhere else and you want to find that, hit Control F and search for function draw underscore menu. And this should take you to the function draw menu. So just right here where we have our print, this is where I want to add an if statement. So I'm going to say if. Now there's a built-in function called t. This will actually return the last frame. So if t modulo 1, I'm going to say if t modulo 1 is greater than 0.5, that's roughly about 15 frames, then I now wanted to run this print statement, and I'll just use end here. And if we save and run, we can actually see that the press X to start is flashing. Basically, all this is doing is toggling this print statement here. So at some point, this is going to be greater than 0.5, and it's going to keep returning a reminder, right? So if the reminder is 0, it's going to just keep flashing and making this start menu object blink. So let's go ahead and work on our food. Okay, so where is our, our game spawning the food? Because if we run our game, so if we go back to our game, I hit Control R and press X to start, we're spawning a rectangle. So instead of spawning a rectangle, we're going to use the built-in PICO-8 method to draw a sprite on the screen. And to do that, we're going to use SPR. So let's go over to our draw food function. So I hit Control F and I'll search for function draw underscore food like so, and I'll just hit this here. So first, let's go ahead and disable the rect fill because it's the rect fill that's drawing our food. We're drawing a filled red rectangle. So let's use a built-in function in PICO-8 called the SPR. So we're going to say SPR, and in this SPR function, what we're going to do is to use a sprite ID. Remember, we have sprites, and each sprite has an ID number. For example, this fruit is actually sprite ID 1. So let's go back here. So if I use 1 here, and now instead of saying our rect fill, I'm just going to say our food dot x, and to make sure that this is in our pixel grid, multiply that by 8, and we're going to also say food dot y, and we'll multiply that by 8 as well. So let's close this function, save it, and run. So now when we're running the game, we can see we're spawning one of our fruit. But the problem is we're just spawning only a single fruit. Basically, we need a way to randomize which fruit we are spawning. If I go back here and I change this to the number 2, save and run the game, you can see we're spawning the fruit with sprite ID 2. And if I change this to, let's say, 5, save and run, you can see we're spawning the watermelon, and this will spawn only. So what we need to do is to use a random number between 1 and 6. And each time any number between 1 and 6 1 or 6 comes randomly, we can just switch to our fruits rather than have this. So I'll just go ahead and crash the game, and let's hit escape, clear the screen, and let's go back to our code environment. So I'm going to create a variable called food sprite ID. So I'm just going to say food underscore sprite underscore ID, and this is what I'm going to use. Now, if you create a variable and PICO-8 doesn't understand what that is, it's going to create an empty sprite 0. Excuse me. We're going to have sprite 0, and that's not what we want. We want to use a sprite. So in order for this to change, we've created variables in other sections. Let's go to our init snake first. So in our init food, let's go ahead and add that to our food sprite ID to always set this to a numerical value. So let's scroll up and look for our init food method. And there it is. And what we want to do here is to initialize our food. So we're going to say food underscore sprite underscore ID and set that to 1. If we save our game and run it, that means our food sprite ID is going to start at 1. So we're not done yet. What we're going to do now that we have our food sprite ID set to 1 in our spawn food function where we're spawning our food, let's set this food sprite ID to have a random value. Remember, init is only going to initialize your food. So let's go ahead and look for our spawn food. I'll just hit Control F and I'll search for a function spawn underscore food and just hit return, and there's our spawn food function. So just over here, I'm going to say our food underscore sprite underscore ID that is set to 1 is now going to be equal to, and I'll make sure this is always a floor, so it's always a whole number. So I'm going to set this to RND, which is a random number between 6, and I'll subtract that from 1. So I'll just do a -1 like so, just to make sure that we are always spawning. So let's save and run. Whoops. So we have a problem here. Let me go ahead and check out what the problem is. So I have, let's try floor. So we have this curly brace, opening curly brace, and we have this one. I don't think I need, let's see this, save and run. So let's see, we're spawning our cherry. Then it's not updating. So there's a problem with our function. So we have this curly brace that's opening this, and we have another one for our random value. So this is supposed to be +1, right? So is it supposed to be +1? Let me just run that. Let's see. So we're spawning our cherry, then we have our watermelon, then we have our orange. Let's just make sure that every fruit is being spawned like that, like that. So I think we're spawning every fruit, and that's great. And one quick way we can check to see if everything is working is to just do a quick debug on food sprite ID, right? So what are we doing here? And let's quickly explain this. So I'm using FLR, and if you want to find what a function is doing, we can just do help FLR like that, and it says round down or up to the closest integer. So we don't want to spawn any sprite ID that has a decimal value. They are all whole numbers. That's why we're using floor. And then random is going to generate random values between this point, right? So if we put 6, so let's say help on RND, which is random, returns a pseudo random number from 0 up to but not including x, which defaults to 1. So if it's going to start from 0 but not including x, which defaults to 1, I'm always adding 1 to ensure that it's not starting from 0, right? So that's why I have this +1 here. So whenever it's 0, we're just going to add 1 to it. So if we return this number and it's 3, then we're going to use 4. If we run this random number and it's 1, then we're going to add 1 to 2. And if we return this random number and it becomes 0, but sprite 0 is an empty sprite, this one, we don't want it to spawn that one. So 0 is going to be 1, 1 is going to be 2, 2 is going to be 3, 3 is going to be 4, 4 is going to be 5. So we're never ever going to get 1 simply by just adding this 1 in the end. Sorry, I was using subtract 1. And there we have it. We now have a way to spawn food, but there is a problem. If you actually notice, our player is spawning food around the UI areas, and sometimes we actually see that it's spawning food within the snake itself. That's not something we want. In our next lesson, we're going to ensure that food is not being spawned in the body of the snake, because sometimes that happens. You actually see that we're spawning food and it's spawning the food in the body of the snake. I'm praying it happens, but it hasn't happened yet. Can we keep going before I lose the high score? Either way, let's move on to the next lesson.